Welcome to GNN. I'm your anchor, Red Nebula. Action in the capital this past yesterweek as tensions rise between Grotmar and Glofbar. Former Chancellor Grotmar stands accused of sending 7 highly trained assassins to the capital in an attempt on Roxnar Glofbar's life. Fortunately, our glorious leader fended off the assassins with nothing but his bare pincers. Praise be to Roxnar Glofbar. The hunt is now on for the escaped Grotmar. Speaking of hunting, what's going on, Ace?
Tuning in for sports is me, Ace McKinley. Good news for all you would-be sharpshooters out there. Bounty hunting has been declared an official public sport. With some kills being worth more than others, those who have the most points by the end of the year will take home the cash purse of 10 billion woolongs. That's B with a billion, folks. Bounty hunting registrations and licenses are being distributed at your local Walmarts. And while you're there, be sure to pick up the latest antimatter gun, the Lasertech Ionic Deconstructor ZB2300. If you can't kill it with regular matter, antimatter will do the trick. Happy hunting, everyone. In other news, the championship game has come just in time for great change in the entire Rockets League game. A new form of play has been added called mutators, causing the ball to change shape and size, the stadium to lower and heighten the effects of gravity, and believe me, players are confused but entertained. Speaking of mutations, the Blacklights and Beef Clan have agreed to postpone the championship game until the Blacklights are no longer mutated pumpkin cars.
Thanks, Ace. Maybe I should become a space bounty hunter. Anyway, what's going on with the weather, Teve?
Last yestermorrow in the ongoing weather war, lightning tornadoes that were launched by a ghost clan of future slores brought total devastation to the new left coast. Millions of unhumans were re-killed, again, and extreme temperatures in that region will make cleanup dangerous and unbearably smelly, much like Detroit. Viewer Donna Trump sent this moving image of his dog Orbit blasting off into the cosmos. Wow, what are you feeding her, Donna? Next time, perhaps we'll believe you when you blame it on the dog. Perhaps. Expect gravity fluctuations to cause random human float-offs and traffic congestion downtown both days of this yesterweek. Also, immense atmospheric pressure levels caused by the most recent moon disappearance may cause cranial explosions, so don't forget your head clamps and splash protection. Back to you, Red.
Unfortunately, we could not acquire the footage of Roxnar Glofbar fighting off the wimpy assassins sent by Grotmar. To add to the story, our production team has recreated said footage.
Oh, what a beautiful day in my underground space bunker. I sure hope nothing bad happens.
Yeah! Chancellor Grotmar sends his regards. Whoosh! Yeah! Hoo-yah! Yeah! Whoosh! Hoo-yah!
Thanks for tuning in to GNN. Have a wonderful forever. What's going on with weather, Steve? Steve?
I'm off to this one.
Now make a pull over. Oh man. Oh, here come the rest.
This is one of those dishes you have to make it for no other reason, just to experience the smell that we're in right now. Hey everybody, I'm Chef Todd and welcome to Under the Apple Tree, where I build, grow, and of course cook my way towards a handmade life. In that vein, I'm opening up a restaurant that by the time this episode comes out should be open. And one of the signature items is this chicken salad that we're going to do today. It's just some leftover rotisserie chicken we're using today. And let's get into it. I'll tell you more as we're going. So like I said, first we got some chicken left over here. We're going to kind of pull the skin off of there, pull bones out. Everybody loves the skin, but this isn't really the place for it. Let me tell you, once the cameras go off, I'll be eating that corner, and I'm sure these guys will join in. Got a nice amount of meat there, about 2 cups worth or so. And we'll slide that right there. You can give us a chop or pull it. We're just going to tear that apart, throw it in there. And you know, that chicken salad is really about, 2 things. Starting with some decent chicken and having a good dressing on there. I really prefer dressing with a little bit of bite, so we're going to use some sriracha today. In the interest of health and maybe, just eating a little more health conscious anyway. We're using a mix of yogurt and mayo for the dressing versus just a straight mayonnaise. You could definitely use just yogurt too, I'm a big fan of that. So you can see our chicken's all broken up here, and let's get the rest of the stuff done. So we need to chop a few ingredients here. We got half of a yellow onion. I'm going to cut this nice and small. You don't want it to overpower anything or somebody to get a big bite of raw onion right off the bat. We got that, we'll slide that over here. We got a couple stalks of celery. Okay, as long as you keep these thin, you don't have to cut them in half. And remember to use a knuckle at forefinger. Make sure you don't cut yourself. Protect your fingers while you can still maintain a decent speed. There we go. And a couple of carrots. Again, we're just going to cut these up fairly thin. Probably only need 1 in the end. So next up, we're going to cut some apples up and add those into there. You can use raisins. You could use almost anything you'd like as far as fruits go. Generally, just like a fruit and a nut of some sort in my chicken and my salads. Chicken salad, tuna salad. Some people eat ham salad. I'm not a big fan of that one. So again, just a small dice on here. As long as you're using good organic apples, you can keep the skin on there. So that's pretty good for our stuff, for our dressing and our filling. We're going to start loading this pan up here. Get our apples and carrots in there, onions and celery. We're going to sprinkle the whole thing with a little bit of curry powder, some salt, and some black pepper. And then we've got about a half a cup each of that yogurt and mayonnaise. And that's going right in there. Start mixing that a little bit. So, and the extra flavors we have here, a little bit of Worcestershire. We've got some local organic Dijon mustard. Sriracha is how much spice you want in there. We're going to hit her pretty good here. As much as we can anyway. There we go. And for that tang, we're going to hit a little bit of apple cider vinegar. And our soy nuts for that crunch. See how it's not overly creamy? We still can tell that there's veggies, that there's good stuff in there. See the mustard and the curry kind of churning the color a little bit. Getting that nice yellow tinge. So we're going to finish that up with a little bit of tomato here. Excellent, so that's my favorite chicken salad. You can get yours at Apple Tree Cafe and Catering in De Pere. Visit us on the internet at appletreecafeandcatering.com. Remember to follow on Twitter at Appletree Show, and subscribe and comment down below. We'll see you guys next time under the apple tree.
Hey, I'm Brandon Palmer. Welcome to episode number 7 of Pigskin Pundits. Jacob number 1 will be giving you NFL news, the suspensions, highlights, injuries, all that stuff. And Jacob number 2 will be walking us through the nickel defense. All that is coming up, so don't go away.
I'm Jacob Dotson, and this is the NFL news. The New Orleans Saints have signed quarterback Matt Flynn to take over the backup position for the New Orleans Saints. Also in free agency news, free agent wide receiver Wes Welker has been signed to a one-year deal by the St. Louis Rams. This could be because of their star wide receiver Stedman Bailey is out 4 games after violating the NFL's substance abuse policy. Now to the Broncos. Starting cornerback Aqib Talib has been suspended for 1 game after poking Colts tight end Dwayne Allen in the eye. More bad news for the Broncos. They are out their defensive end DeMarcus Ware 2 to 4 weeks after he re-aggravated a back injury. Now to the NFC West, where 49ers head coach Jim Tomsula has informed quarterback Blaine Gabbert that he will be starting against the Seattle Seahawks. Bad news for the New England Patriots. Star running back Dion Lewis is out for the season after tearing his ACL in Sunday's win. And the biggest news of this week, Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger is out a couple weeks after he suffered a mid-foot sprain. And that is all for the NFL news this week.
Hey, Jacob. Jacob, why are you just sitting in the studio here?
Because there's less people in here.
Oh, well, I had another question for you.
Man, I should start charging you answers for these.
Well, fine, if it's bothering you, I'll just leave.
Nah, that's right. I'm just messing with you.
Oh, good.
Actually, I kind of like explaining this stuff, and it's nice to have somebody that's actually curious about football. So what was your question?
Well, I know we went over the base defenses, but I hear announcers talking about how often teams are playing nickel defense. How is that different from 3-4 and 4-3 defense?
Basically, nickel defense is taking one of your linebackers or defensive linemen off the field and replacing them with another cornerback. Dime is basically the same thing, but doing it again. Another lineman off the field and replacing it with a 6th defensive back.
Why would you want to do that? Why do announcers say that teams keep using it more?
Well, you do it to match up the number of receivers the offense has with the number of cornerbacks that your defense has. So if they have 3 receivers out, you'd want to have 3 cornerbacks.
And if they had 4 receivers, you'd want to be in dime, right?
Right. Of course, there are a lot of variations on it, and depending on your players and the situation, you can take different defensive players out and replace them with different defensive backs. For nickel, the most common are 3-3-5 and 4-2-5, meaning 3 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, and 5 defensive backs, or 4-2 and 5. Some teams will also use a 2-4-5 if they want more linebackers on the field. And my personal favorite, something the Packers will use every so often, is the cycle formation.
Cycle formation? Really?
Yeah. It's 1 down lineman, 5 linebackers, and 5 defensive backs. But because the players on defense can move around a lot before the snap, the linebackers are crisscrossing all over the place trying to confuse the offense.
It looks pretty confusing.
Yeah, and on top of that, you can change the defensive backs around too. So if there's 3 wide receivers, but it's a team that runs a lot, you can, instead of putting a corner in, you can put a third safety in. Safeties are typically better tacklers. They're better against the run.
That's a lot to think about. There's a lot of different things you can do with this defense.
Yeah, and it's really hard to plan as well because defense is so reactionary.
All right, I think I got a good hand on this. You can go back to be doing whatever you were doing.
Cool. Grab the lights on the way out.
Sure.
That's it for this week's episode of Pigskin Pundits. Thanks for watching, and I don't know what we're doing next week, but tune in anyways.
Need a quiet place to study or relax? Then come on down to the fireplace in the Commons. Come on down to the movie theater in the Commons area. You can sit back and enjoy any movies they have.
In the gaming room, you can not only enjoy video games or some pool, but it's a great place to also meet new friends.
In the cafeteria, you can find a wide variety of food at affordable prices. There's many things to choose from, including hot food, cold food, salad bar, and drinks.
Welcome to another MTE Minute. My name is Kevin Kleifkin. Halloween, it's come, it's gone, nobody cares about Thanksgiving. We're moving straight into the holiday season. Now you know what the holidays mean. Lots and lots of shopping. And you know what makes for great gifts? Me personally, along with millions of others, video games. Video game consoles, video games themselves, and video game accessories. 2015 has been a huge year for games, and there are going to be a lot of phenomenal games that are going to be put on the top of people's wish lists for this holiday season. There's been a lot of games over the course of 2015, but there's been a ton of phenomenal ones that have been released just recently. Here today, we're going to cover a couple of our favorites here at MTE and a couple of ours that are on the very top of the MTE video game wish list. First, on the official MTE wish list, it's already been released, but it's still a phenomenal game. We're talking about Fallout 4. Fallout 4 is part of the series that centers around a post-apocalyptic United States of America, and Fallout 4 specifically is set in the year 2287. In the 2070s, the United States and China were at war. China launched a number of nuclear missiles which devastated America, thus creating this post-apocalyptic world that everybody loves to play in. The series was originally launched for PCs in 1997 with a sequel, Fallout 2, coming in 1998. 10 years later, in 2008, Fallout 3 was launched for PC, Mac, Xbox 360, and PlayStation 3 to huge praise. This spawned a spin-off game in 2010 titled Fallout New Vegas. Traditionally, all of the Fallout games have taken place in one city of the United States, with Fallout 3 taking place in Washington, D.C. and the surrounding area, and Fallout New Vegas obviously taking place in Las Vegas. If you're a fan of the Elder Scrolls series, specifically the Morrowind game, the Oblivion game, and the Skyrim game, you are going to love the Fallout series. It's made by the same publishers, Bethesda, and in my opinion, if you take that Elder Scrolls universe and you remove all the spells and add guns in a post-apocalyptic United States of America, you got the Fallout series. Now, Fallout 4 was generating an immense amount of hype in the years between Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 4, with it finally launching on November 10th, about a week ago. In the week that the game has been out, more than 1.8 million digital units have been purchased and downloaded, creating over $100 million in revenue so far. This $100 million in digital sales contributes to the over $750 million in both physical and digital sales within the first 7 days. Fallout 4 has been nothing short of spectacular according to critics, with a lot of critics calling this the game of 2015. Now, the next game on our wish list actually won the Metacritic Award for Best PlayStation 4 Game of 2015 and Best Xbox One Game of 2015, and we're talking about none other than the phenomenal, amazing, story-driven, but yet very confusing and complicated Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain was released on September 1st and has been the long-awaited follow-up to Metal Gear Solid 4: Sons of Liberty, originally released in 2008 exclusively on the PlayStation 3. Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain follows Big Boss, controversially voiced by Kiefer Sutherland instead of series icon David Hayter, as he reestablishes his military force that was previously destroyed in the prologue to the game Metal Gear Solid 5: Ground Zeroes. Fans and critics of the Metal Gear Solid series will be sad to hear this is Hideo Kojima's last entry into the series, but praise the game with tons of positive reviews, including, as previously mentioned, Metacritic awarding, quote, Best PlayStation 4 and Best Xbox One Game of 2015. Hideo Kojima is known for crafting amazing stories with even better gameplay, so needless to say, when this game was released on September 1st, there was a lot of hype around it, and a lot of people bought this game. In fact, according to GameRant.com, within the first 24 hours, the game sold $179 million across the world, which is roughly just under 3 million copies within the first 24 hours. Third on our MTE wish list is a total underdog, with no pun intended. The game that we're putting on third on our wish list is the Peanuts movie, Snoopy's Grand Adventure. This is a game that most people haven't heard of nor will hear much about, but this side-scrolling platform is based on the new Peanuts movie being released.
Come on, guys.
The game was released on November 3rd in North America and November 6th for the rest of the world, and is available on Nintendo 3DS, PlayStation 4, Wii U, Xbox 360, and Xbox One. The game revolves around the player playing as both Snoopy and Woodstock as they adventure out into different worlds, completing simple objectives like collecting a certain amount of jelly beans or collecting a certain amount of Beagle Scouts.
You found a Beagle Scout.
While this sounds simple, it has the same simplistic design and the feel of the immensely successful LEGO video game series, and combined with the love for Peanuts, I believe this is one game you have to try out for yourself. There are dozens more games that probably you're wondering why we haven't covered, and they're included on our wish list, we just didn't have time to cover them. These games include Star Wars Battlefront, which is coming out very, very soon, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, Just Cause 3, StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void, Rainbow Six Siege, and so many more. So, in the comments below, let us know your wish list, what you want to get, your top games for this holiday season. While you're down there, make sure you subscribe, tweet me and let me know your wish list or your favorite game, and for anything TC Weekly related, head over to tcweekly.org. For MTE, this is Kevin Kleifkin. Thanks for watching.